Hello. Hey, you guys. To those who are here live, to those who are kind of going to come on and watch the replay, you can skip ahead to the main lesson. Oh my gosh, you guys, I always say when I come on here, I haven't been live in so long, but I'm waiting for people to come in. And when you come in, let me know you're here in the chat. And yeah, today I want to just share this topic. I have been posting a couple of videos. I posted 2 videos last week about this topic of coming online, sharing your passion, sharing your expertise, and then making income from that. So I thought with the videos that I shared last week, let me know as y'all get in here. If you're here, let me know you're here in the chat so I can speak to you specifically. But if you have not seen those videos, then after this live, I would say go and check them out. I put a video up last week, I think at the beginning of the week, about basically how to turn your skills, your passions, your expertise into a personal brand or into income. Hi, Jim, into income. And so in that video, I laid out, hi, in that video, I laid out the step-by-step process. And we're going to go over it in here today. Just some need to know things. But in that video, I went over some need to know the step-by-step process of taking you, whoever you are, whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're skilled in, and turning that into a brand and then turning that brand into income. And so I haven't been live in a long time. And I feel like coming live, this is a place for me to really see who's here to hear more about what it is that you're passionate about, what it is that you're skilled in. And like just like a little time to just chat one on one and well, not one on one, but face to face, kind of. So I can help you where you are in your journey and to encourage you and kind of give you that next step. And, we're in this, and y'all talk if you're here. If you have questions, you can ask them. We're going to do Q&A and all of that, or don't talk, or come back and watch the replay if you have to come in and out. I know it's kind of late. But I know we're in like the season of information overload. Somebody told me the other day, like, listen, my problem, because the question I want to ask y'all is if you're someone who your goal this year, this month, this week is to come online whatever platform you choose, and to start making additional income, my question for you is why haven't you started yet? And there can be a lot of reasons why. And I want to talk about some of that here. But someone who I spoke to a little while ago said, listen, it's too much information. Everybody's saying something. I don't know who to listen to. I don't know which piece of advice is the advice to take. And so I'm sitting on everything that I'm learning. And so my question for you is, if you're watching it here live or if you're watching the replay in the comments or in the chat, what is the thing stopping you from going forward and doing what it is that you want to do, whatever that may be? And so, like I said, I put out 2 videos this past week. No time. That's real. That's real. And I'll even say that there are excuses, there are valid reasons, valid excuses. And so we're going to go over some of these things. But if I were starting from scratch, or not even if I'm starting from scratch, something my sister shared with me is that clarity brings confidence. And I know from experience, when I'm confident about something, I'm able to execute. And so if I can give you, I want to give y'all in here today 3 things. If your goal is to sell your expertise, or to sell something that you're passionate about, and feel free to let me know in the chat here what that thing is. I don't like speaking broadly, but I don't know who's here. What is your passion? Cooking, finances. Y'all know the examples I always give in my videos. What is it that you want to talk about? What's that thing that's like brewing inside of you that you know that you can come online and talk about and make income from it if you just had the, I guess, system to do it? 3 things I want to give to y'all to take with, so that this can be the 3 things that you focus on. Hi, Karen. OMG. I haven't seen your face. Well, your comment in so long, you in so long. I hope you're well. I hope you are well. 3 things I want to give to y'all to focus on, to really help you to turn your expertise, your passions into income. I've kind of said these things in my previous videos, but I want to emphasize here what's truly the most important thing to focus on. I'm just going to hop right into it. Okay. So I recently started after 3 years of wanting to. Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Because starting is like, that's half the battle. Like just actually like doing it and getting started. The first thing, and I said before, I know y'all like, okay, girl, get to it. Listen, the These three things I'm gonna share with y'all, I said this is good if you're gonna get started, but honestly, me myself, every 3 months or so in my business, I have to revisit these three things because it is so easy. Like I said before, content overload, information overload is so easy to get distracted and to kind of get off course. And then you feel like, okay, what am I even doing? So, number one, you want to get extremely, extremely sure about you. What is it that you are going to be focused on? And I want to emphasize this because we are all multifaceted people, but this is not the time to be the jack of all trades. I know you can do a bunch of different things. I know you're skilled in a lot of different things. I know a lot of different things look shiny and cool, and you want to try a lot of things, or you are good at a lot of things. But what is going to be the one thing that you start with, that you focus on as the area that you're going to be your area of expertise, or the one passion, or the one skill? If I look down, y'all, I have some notes to make sure I don't forget this, but it's always good to start with you. Like, what is it that you're going to be talking about? And this is extremely important because when it comes to, y'all hear all the time, if you're going to be making content like on YouTube, people always have the discussion of, should I niche down? Should I not niche down? You don't have to niche down. I don't want to niche down, whatever. Let me tell you from my experience. Okay. My last two videos performed not how I expected, because one of the things that, so we're going to get kind of technical. We're going to get kind of technical here. But one of the things I saw on the back end was that YouTube was not sure who to send my video out to. So, yeah, YouTube wasn't sure. I'll get to the comments in a second. YouTube wasn't sure who to send my video out to. So, what that looked like was, in my analytics, I saw that my video was being suggested after some random videos. And when my video is being suggested to random videos, if it's not aligned with the thing that I'm focused on, people aren't going to actually click on it. And so this can happen when you get all over the place. Now, I wasn't all over the place. Another thing that can do this is kind of off topic, but posting shorts, y'all gonna hear it from me here, and hopefully YouTube don't be listening. Posting shorts can also do that, because when you're posting a short, YouTube is posting out that short to a lot of different audiences at a lot of different times, trying to see who's going to be the one to pick it up. And then once that particular audience picks it up, it'll keep sending it out to that audience. And so if you don't post shorts often, which I don't, so when I posted a short, we'll get back on track here, but when I posted that short, I saw that it went out to a lot of different audiences. And so then when I posted long form videos after that short, honey, my videos have always gone for the past year or so to a very specific audience. And that's how I'm able to get a lot of views quickly, because YouTube knows exactly who to send it to, because the audience that aligns with my content, they like it, they click on it, they watch it, and YouTube likes that. So they continue to send it to those people. When my short went all over the place, my YouTube put my video all over the place. So I made that point to say the first thing that we want to focus on when we're coming online is, number one, pick a format. You're going to do long form content, you're going to do short, but also focus on what are you going to talk about. Hmm, that's a good point. We can talk soon. Wait till the Q&A. I'm gonna do Q&A here. So I want to know more about like what it is you do, so we can maybe get down to it. Um, what are you going to focus on specifically, so that when your audience comes, they know that this is the place for me? And also these algorithms, we always hate talking about the algorithm, but the algorithm can know which audience to send your video out to. Okay, so the first thing is to get super sure on you. We don't want to be all over the place. We want to be very clear on that, because then y'all heard me say this before in previous videos, but this is what's most important. I'm telling y'all from my experience. Once you know you, what it is that you're going to focus on, the next thing is the who. And not enough people emphasize this, but knowing who you're going to be targeting. And I'm going to give you some examples here. Who is extremely important. And when I say who, what I don't mean, I see a lot of people talk about like avatars, and they talk about, how old are they? How tall are they? What's their hair color? We don't necessarily care about those specific things. We want to know who cares. Like, you want to talk about, let's say, finances. Who cares? Who should care? Who do you want to care? Okay, so what matters? we'll get kind of deeper, but what matters? So, what life stage are they in? Are they newly married? Are they young adults? Are they first time parents? What actually matters for what you're going to be talking about? So, what life stage are they in? What type of person are they? I can give some examples of like my clothing business, and then we'll bring it into what I do now. So, with my clothing business, y'all know that's the very first thing I did. I sold clothing. Matter of fact, here's Fearless. So I sold clothing. And so at first I was just selling clothes because I wanted to make some money online and I didn't really care. I thought I'm gonna sell clothes, is cute. People are gonna buy or they're not gonna buy. I don't know and I don't care. And so people were not buying. And I realized, okay, I need to get very clear on like what I'm doing here. Like nobody cares about what I'm talking about. How can I make somebody care about what I'm talking about? And so I had to look at the clothes that I already purchased in bulk, a lot of it, wasted or spent a lot of money. I had to ask myself, okay, with the clothing that I have, who would care about this? Who would actually want to buy this? For everything you sell, you want to ask that question. So for the clothing, well, it was like bright colors, it was flowy, it was sometimes had faith branding on it. And so I deduced that to, okay, maybe I can say it's going to be bold women of faith who are always on the go. So I didn't say a 30-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 60-year-old. I didn't say how tall they are or anything like that, because that does not matter for what I'm selling. So what I focused on when I defined my who, I'm asking myself what matters as it pertains to what I'm selling. Who, and maybe you don't know what you're going to sell yet. So if you don't know what you're going to sell yet, then you can ask yourself, okay, well, who do you want to focus on? And so once you're very sure about you, the second thing is to get sure about the who. So for an example, I also have like an SEO course where I talk about how to, grow your YouTube channel, how to get monetized. I've helped hundreds of people over the years get monetized on YouTube. And so I realized people always had questions about SEO. So I could just say, okay, y'all have an SEO course, hey, buy it for all YouTubers across the world. And who am I? Like, there's so many YouTubers who are experienced and are skilled and probably selling the exact same thing. So why would somebody listen to me? Who specifically do I want to help, and like for what reason? And so I've deduced that to, okay, I'm helping experts. There are people who are already experts. They already are skilled at something. They already maybe have a business. Maybe they already have a large following on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook, but they want to tap into YouTube and they have no idea what titles and thumbnails to use to get seen. And so I can now say that this course is not just for YouTubers, but it's for experts who it's for people who are experienced in something who want to come and build an audience on YouTube for the purposes of selling their products or services. So that's very specific and it helps me to market down the line. And so once you get very clear on who you are, like what it is that you're going to be focused on, your skill set, your passion, whatever, and specifically who it's for, now you can, first of all, once you decide that, don't waver. It's important that you stay consistent in that. And you may pivot down the line. Like I used to only focus on boutique owners and now I don't. So sometimes you will naturally pivot, but that pivot was like how many years? Like 3 4 years in the one area, and now however many years in this next area. So pivots happen, but for now, as you're focusing on right now, as you're focusing on, you need to be moving right now. You want to get very focused. I'm gonna read y'all's. I don't want to just be talking at y'all, but I want to share this. Hey, and then I'll read y'all's comments, and then we'll do Q&A. So yes, once you get clear on this, the other day, maybe a few weeks ago, I was kind of just like I'm feeling stuck on like the next thing I want to do. And I had to just set time aside. I went to a coffee shop so I could just get out of my normal environment. And I sat down with my handy dandy iPad and I gave myself a mini VIP day, which is when I sit down with my laptop and I ask myself those two questions I just asked y'all. Who are you? And who is your who? Like once I understand that, everything else flows from that. Then you know what content to make, then well, for me, then I know what to sell. That's kind of the way that I do it. I define my you, me, then I define my who, then I say, okay, well, what do I want to sell these people? And then the content I make is simply a bridge to get people to understand who I am and then how I can help them to like sell something. And so the content then is that next part. So again, you and then who. And then, like I just said, let me make sure I'm not skipping over nothing. Yeah, perfect. So then, once you know the you and the who, your job, like I just said, is to then go wherever you want to go. Now, this is the way that I teach it. Some people may say you don't have to make content. Maybe you're going to just have ads. Even with an ad, you have to have a piece of content to put an ad behind. So the next thing, period, is to show up, to speak, to share, to educate, to inspire. These are all the things your content can do. These are all the things your content should do for the who. Are y'all following me? I hope y'all are following me. And so you want to show up, inspire, relate. So share your journey, teach them something. What should they need to know? Like, what's the beginning steps that they need to know? Share what you've done before. Excuse me. Teach, educate. That's all your content. And then that leads to your product, the thing you want to sell. Okay, hold on, y'all. I'm losing it. Excuse me. So what if your content's for moms of faith? Mm, mm, that's a good question. For your question, Deborah, as far as like your content's for moms of faith and women of faith in general, women that are not necessarily moms yet, you don't have to choose one or the other. You can, the overarching group is women of faith. Now, you may also make mom content. Um, okay, come back later or watch the replay. And then when you watch the replay, you can leave in the comments what you do, and I can try to help you there. I know it's getting late, so I'm not going to be on her too long, y'all. But yeah, woman of faith can be your overall pillar. Um, and then yeah, you can make different pillars reaching different people. So my overarching thing, what I do on my YouTube channel, y'all, and excuse my voice because it's late and I'm tired. I've been up all day teaching, coaching, working, everything. Okay. And then we'll get into the third thing that I want to share with y'all. After you have the content, what's next? But when it comes to my overarching brand for my channel, I know that I help experts and entrepreneurs show up to like what I'm teaching y'all today, help you turn your expertise, your passion, your skills into income. But then I have branches of that. And those branches then dictate what video I make next. So sometimes I help creators. So people who they're an expert, they're already making content, but they need help monetizing their content. I may make videos just for them. So you may see me make videos about YouTube specifically. Um, I also make videos for people of faith, faith-based people, usually faith-based people who have something to share, a passion, an expertise, a skill, but they need help growing that community. And then I also help those who are like technical, professional experts. So I help different people, but they kind of are still overarching in that same category, if that makes sense. But the different person may dictate how I word that content, that piece of content or that video that I put out next, but they pretty much are, in the same group technically, but different aspects of the group. Okay. Excuse me. Y'all, can I mute this? Okay. Hello, hello. All right, y'all. We're gonna keep it real here, okay? So listen, then what's next? So, and I want to kind of stay right here because I know like earlier, if you're just coming on, I asked earlier, like, what's the thing that's stopping you from coming online, sharing, speaking, and like turning your expertise and passions into income? What's stopping you? If you haven't already put it in the comments, let me know in the comments. But what I know from my personal experience and with people that I've coached, one of the things that stop a lot of people, half of it is fear. Like a lot of it is you are afraid to show up, or some of it is you're inconsistent. So you don't give yourself the chance to actually show up and establish the community and actually sell. But most times it is fear of the unknown. You're just afraid because you've never done it. You're afraid of the what ifs. You're doubting yourself. You don't know if what you even have to say is even good enough, if anybody would listen, if anybody would care. Okay. Like, does that sound like anybody here? Okay. I don't want to like over spiritualize it, but listen to me. People in this segment would usually say God did not give us a spirit of fear. And that is true, right? We know the word. God has not given us a spirit of fear. God has not given us a spirit of fear. That does not mean that sometimes you may feel fear. Like, let's be real. Sometimes, me myself, I will experience nervousness. Sometimes I may get anxious. Sometimes I may feel afraid. But because I know that God has not given me that to me, I know that I have the power to overcome it. But those feelings do come up. If I can be real with y'all, I have experienced nervousness before even recording content. It's like, girl, you're gonna sit here, you've been doing this for years, just record the content. I have felt nervousness before coaching, before coming live, teaching, speaking. I mean, I have experienced those things. Now I have a video on my channel from last year where I talked about, y'all know, the enemy. I believe he's an enemy of your progress. And so when you're about to do something that you have been wanting to do or you're meant to do, that's when he tries to show up the most, like really, like sit down somewhere. However, what I've also learned is that of course we can overcome fear with prayer. But I'm gonna be like realistic with y'all. When I'm about to do something like, let's say, coaching or going live or recording content, and I feel fear, yes, I'm gonna pray first because that's just how I am. Like, God, please, like, let this go away. And even then, I still will feel it. However, I could guarantee you, rarely do I ever feel fear or nervousness or doubt when I'm actually doing the thing. So when I actually start speaking or teaching, going live, recording content, when I'm actually in the act of doing that thing, the fear is out the window. It doesn't even exist in my mind. And so a lot of times you overcome those feelings by acting, which is why I always say it's good to have faith in action. Yes, we want to believe that we can do something. Number one, you have to believe that you are capable of doing something. But then also, as you act, as you move, those feelings usually always tend to disappear. They're nowhere to be found. I have to tell myself, like, girl, this is not even real. Like, the last time you sat down and did this, I asked myself yesterday, I was like, okay, the last time you did that, like, let's think back. Were you afraid doing those things? No. Like, when you were actually doing them? No. So I'm not going to let this stop me now, because the question I have for you is, how long are you willing to allow fear to hold you back? How long can you afford for fear to hold you back? Or, and I'm saying the words fear because let's call it what it is. But if you ask yourself why you haven't done something yet, you may have another reason for it, like, oh, I'm not sure, or so many different ideas. If you don't just choose one and get started, because you do not know until you actually start. I always tell my clients, like, you're welcome. I'm gonna come back to the comments, y'all. I always tell my clients that, like, most times you have a product in mind that you want to sell, okay? But then when you come online and actually start sharing whatever it is that you have to share, you start teaching or, giving knowledge or sharing your experiences, people will have questions about a totally different part of it. And you want to lean into the questions. You do not want to be caught somewhere making a product. This is why when people come to me and they say, okay, girl, I have this product, I want to sell it. What's my first step? I'm like, let's back up. So people come to me because they want to sell something, but I'm a brand strategist. We're always going to start with what I told y'all today. Who are you? Who's your who? Why do they care? How can we make them care? What are you going to talk about? Now we can effortlessly sell it after all of that. And so most times when you're showing up, you may get other questions that lead to something else. And so I just said a lot of different things there. But I think the main point of all of that is fear. If that's one of the reasons why you are not moving forward, you just got to step past it. Okay. And on the other side of that, imagine, like, what is the thing? I remember I was talking to somebody the other day and she was like, listen, I have something that I want to do and I haven't done it and I get distracted. But whenever I get quiet time, that thing keeps popping back up. I can't ignore this thing that I want to do. And I've learned in my life that when something keeps tapping me on the shoulder, 9 times out of 10, that's usually a God thing. That's usually the thing that I'm supposed to be doing right now. And so, how long can you afford to put off that? And let me be someone to tell you, when you fully step into doing the things that you're passionate about, skilled in, the thing that you're afraid of, it feels so good. Okay, it feels so great to actually do it. And so those are the main three things that I would say. Yes, pray for courage, make a plan. Okay, if y'all didn't see the videos I put up last week after this live is done, go watch those two videos. Again, the first one was about how to turn you, your passions, your skills into a profitable personal brand. So, like how to turn it into content, a product, how to sell it. But then I also did a video on the different products you can sell and why you should do one versus the other and how to price it. So should you do an ebook, a course, coaching, which one should you do, why, and what to price it at? So what I'm saying is I gave y'all the tools. Okay? So pray for courage, make a plan, and then you start executing. I came across one of my older videos the other day, and what I said in that video, I have to be watching my own videos because half the time it just be God talking, okay? And I said something so good, and I forgot I used to do this, but I'm gonna give y'all the same thing. Now, somebody earlier, I think it was Jim, said that sometimes time is the thing that stops you, which I completely understand. You know, we cannot make more time. Time is what it is. However, what will be realistic or really helpful for y'all is to make, let's call it a launch day checklist. That's what I used to call it for my boutique clients. But maybe you're not launching, maybe you're just going to do something new, maybe you're just going to put out the first video, but let's call it a launch day checklist, because when something's a launch, we tend to make it, we tend to, be more serious about it. And on the launch day checklist, at the very top of it, you put, what are you launching? Is it your first video? Is it your website? Is it a new program? Whatever. What are you launching and what date? Open your calendar, pick a date, and put it at the top. And then from there, it's like a to do list. So, what is every little thing that needs to get done before you can actually say, I've done this thing? Write every little thing out, every little task out. But we're not just making a to do list, because then y'all know my notes section in my phone is a mile long. Some things I'm like, I wrote this down. When did I write that down? And why did I forget about it? So we're not going to just write it down and forget about it. With every single task, put a date next to it. Okay. Put a date. When are you going to get this done? Now, if time is not on your side and you have a lot of things going on, then make it realistic. You don't have to try to do it, in a crazy timeline just to say you did it in a crazy timeline. Like, what can you actually stick with? But next to every task, put a date. And then, like, or just see, exactly, no, put a task and put a date, period. Like, I feel like y'all, I don't know, but I know for most people who watch my channel, you've watched so many other videos like what I've posted, or you've watched all my videos. You have a pretty good idea of what needs to happen. And if you don't know what needs to happen, or if you want to speak to me about exactly what you should do, then come on, let's work together. But put the task down, put the dates next to it, and now you're executing step by step by that certain day. And by the end of it, you'll look up and say, oh, I did it. Because when you are busy acting these things out, you don't have time to overthink, literally. I remember I had the launch day checklist and I saw what my steps were. So when you write down your steps, make sure you have a clear mind. Make sure you somewhere put your instrumental music on, your worship music, whatever you can get jiggy with. Put that on, have a clear mind, do it on the day where you feel like your best self, so that you know that nothing clouded your judgment that day. Because then, as life picks back up after that moment, as life always does, no matter what's going on in life, you go back to that to do list and say, okay, by today I need to have what done? Okay, cool. So whatever's going on right here, whatever fear, whatever random invite I just got, if it doesn't align with my to-do list, unless it's like something that I'm obligated to, like you have kids or your spouse, whatever, eating, sleeping. But even that, sometimes you got to sacrifice a little bit. But don't, do what you got to do. But if anything gets in the way of what you have written down, if you can push it aside, you need to push it aside. And so when you do it like this, you have no room to overthink, because you don't have time to, literally. Now you're focused on what's the next task. And so doing it like this is how I was able to launch my initial business, my clothing store, in 2018. I was able to do it in 3 weeks, which was absolutely crazy when I think back. I don't even know how I did it back then. I try now to do stuff like that fast and I take myself out. So I don't know how I did that, but that's how I was able to do that back then. 3 weeks, business was launched. I'm talking about I was traveling across states to find inventory. I was, yeah, that was a lot. Shout out to me back then. However, so be realistic with your time, but doing it like this, you're able to get so much done. Y'all are about to see, some of y'all are about to see yourself do things that you have been putting off for years. You're like, wait, that's all it took? Yes, some focus and some discipline. And we have no time for fear, no time for overthinking. I'm about to get into y'all's questions. If you have questions about anything, y'all can put it in the chat. But before we get into Q&A, let me tell y'all now. Some of y'all already know this because you're on my email list. Next week, I'm doing a live 3-day workshop. Now, this workshop is specifically for those of you who already have a good idea of what you want to do and who you want to target. But where you're kind of stuck at right now is like, okay, what content do I put out? And how do I go from content to selling? Like I'm putting out content, or maybe you're not putting out content at all, but you want to know, how do I actually go from content to selling? Maybe you don't know what product to sell yet. Maybe you don't know what product is going to be good for your audience yet. The workshop is called Content to Cash Flow. So it is exactly what it sounds like. It's 3 days, April 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 7 p.m. on each day. It's only going to be for, well, let me just say, I'm only going to take in a small amount of people. People are already registered for it. I'll put the link here. And if you're watching the replay, it's in the description box. What was I going to say? So this, I haven't done a live workshop like this in like 4 to 5 years. I've done it maybe like 3 or 4 times, and it's always so much fun because y'all know my background as a teacher. So I get to teach. And the people who come live to it, so for example, if you already registered today, you got an email from me. I emailed you today asking more about like who you are, tell me about your business, tell me what you're going through, because the workshops are going to be like really custom crafted to those who are coming. So because of that, I can only take a certain amount of people because there's not enough time for me to deal with everybody in their business. So I believe there's just a few seats left. I'll put the link here. If you have questions about it, let me know. Again, it's next week. And now there's the link in the chat. And so now I'm going to scroll up. Hopefully this was great. Hopefully this gave y'all some encouragement. I didn't even plan to talk about that launch day checklist. But it came up when I was watching one of my old videos, and it's been so helpful for me in the past. And so I feel like that's what some of y'all will need. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to go up and answer questions. And if you have a question, you guys can put it in the chat if you just want to chat about whatever. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, I'm not sure what that's about. Okay, I already answered that. Okay, she said her content is about being a Gen Xer and the keto diet for mood stability. Hey, that's good. That's really good. Not sure how to market that. So I'm assuming, I don't know if you mean you're not sure how to, a daily dose of M, if you're still on here, you can let me know. Do you mean you're not sure how to like frame your content, or you're not sure how to market the product that you want to put out next? Because I don't want to say that, but I almost want to say being a Gen Xer. I'm not sure if that is the part that's relevant, unless that's the part if that's the part that you think is most relevant. People at a certain age group tend to have lesser mood stability, and this is the keto diet is good for them. But what I will say is anything dealing with diet, food, weight loss, but you're not talking about weight loss, but just like diet and also mindset, those things are really popular. And so you can decide. I'm going to scroll down to see if she didn't comment again. Okay. This is where you can decide which area you want to focus on. I wish I can go to your channel. Oh, wait, I can. Is this going to take me out of here? Okay. Y'all give me a second. I'm actually going to go look at her channel. Okay. Now let me see what's popular. Okay, exactly. Okay, Deadly Dose of M. Hopefully she's still here. If not, she'll watch the replay. The video that did the best for you was trying keto for your mood. And that's exactly like where I would stay. That's exactly where I would focus on. Okay, that's exactly what I would be focusing on, is pointing out, get even more specific. So when you say mood stability, like what does that mean? Is it anxiety? Is it depression? Is it not being able to be more productive? Point out the benefits. So what other benefits as it pertains to mood did keto help? And then you can get specifics on exactly what. So is it like green juices? What about keto? Maybe you have recipe videos. And then from there, you can do so many things. You can have a recipe book, you can have coaching. And so I would say point out the benefits as far as mood stability. And then also for the keto diet aspect, some people don't even know what keto is. So I'm not even sure if keto would make me stop and watch. If I was struggling with mood, I may be interested. And so also you can point out, okay. Also, you can point out the different things that you've eaten that has helped. My initial content was sharing my experience being a Gen Xer, sharing my journey. I'm just starting my keto diet. Okay. Listen, I've said this before and I'm gonna say it again. One of the best things to do on YouTube to get a lot of traction, from my experience, is sharing a journey. So if you're just now starting the journey, like share that as much as you want to share. You can do a challenge. You can do like mood disorders and getting off. Girl, are you kidding me? This is great. This is good. This is good. And so, of course, you want to be careful because, if you're not a doctor, I don't know if you give medical advice, but sharing your experiences is always the way to go. And sharing your journey, like taking them through the process, like, look what I've learned. That's how my channel grew in the beginning. That's how my channel always grows, when I share what I've learned, because it makes it more relatable to you. And so, put yourself, well, you're living through it, so you don't even have to put yourself in the mind of your viewer, because you are that person. And so what are the things that you were looking for? What questions did you have when you started this journey? Like a video, that idea, if you haven't already done it, is like, how blank, insert food item, um decreased my blank, insert mood disorder, or how blank, insert food item, helped me to finally get off blank, insert medication. And then just sharing your journey. And then also, well, we can talk more, but yeah, think of how you can share your journey. A challenge is a really good way to do that, like 10 days to blank, or changing blank in this amount of days is also really helpful. Okay, let me see. She said, I've been through the unworthiness trap. Listen, you are worthy. You are worthy because of who created you. You are 100% worthy. So don't even let that. Oh, she said, can we get an empowerment group for encouragement through the process? I have been thinking of a way to, yeah, I'm on Circle now, and I've done memberships in the past, and I don't really want to do a membership, like a paid membership right now, because I talked about this in my last video. When you do a membership that's monthly, you got to show up monthly. And I don't mind showing up monthly, but then I'll be having so many other things to do. However, so I've been thinking of a way to have like more community. And so maybe, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll do something over there, just so that I say y'all, but just so that people can talk amongst themselves, even if I'm not always in there. I think I'll be good. Let me see. Okay. Thank you for this session. You're welcome. Oh, hey, that's one thing. Okay. The people who are here, all of you who are here, y'all are impressive. Really. Y'all are impressive. Okay, let me see. Help women release trauma and suppressed emotions through African dance. Help them tap into the neuroplasticity of the Word of God. I never even thought about the Word of God having neuroplasticity. So that within itself is something to really highlight. Okay, so you want to start a challenge on depression. Let me say this again. Oh, unless this is true. I want because something that's going to be good to emphasize, especially for those who are dealing with like mood disorders or health things, is to highlight, unless you are, highlight, I'm not a medical professional, so that if because the first idea that I had was like, a challenge, like a 30-day challenge to improving their mood or depression. But what if they have a negative effect? You got to be careful there. So instead of saying something like that, if you want to incorporate, okay, this is an immediate idea. So when I think about content, and now we're kind of getting into some of the things I'm gonna teach in the workshop, so I won't say too much here, but I'll give the general overview because I've said this before on my channel. When I'm posting content, there's two types. The first type is casting a wide net, and my clients know this, and we build this out together. But casting a wide net is like, okay, out of all the things that I could talk about within my niche, which things are people actively searching for all the time? What are popular? What are like frequently asked questions? What are the topics that get the most traction? And then what are the topics that are really like specific to my niche that may not be searched as much, but they need it? I'm skilled in it. It's like niched. So I don't guess. I go to YouTube to research this, and I'll share how I do that in the workshop. So I don't want to guess with yours. So I'm saying right now, I'm not 100% sure. But a good idea, the challenge that I thought of was like taking them through African dance, or let's say African dance, to improve their mood or you said depression, so depression. And so it could be, oh, I just had an idea of something that I did a while ago. Okay, let me write this down so I don't forget, and then we'll come back to it. Um, African dance. Okay, a few disclaimers. Challenges are good to sell something. Challenges are good to build community. I'm not saying that challenges will be the thing that blows up your channel, but it could. A challenge is something, because you got to think about what helps channels to do really well is going to be like your title and your thumbnail. And so each video should be able to act on its own. And the videos that do well on its own are usually the ones that do really well. Okay. So I want to make that point. So if the goal is to do a challenge, and I bring that up because I did a challenge. I sell, y'all know I have a book, most of y'all know I have a book called Soul Food for the Entrepreneur, 30-day devotional that I wrote in 2019 that helps entrepreneurs build their faith, wealth, and success. And one of the ways I was able to effectively sell this was during Black Friday some year, maybe 2021, I don't remember. But I was able to sell that devotional, like sell it out all the way, because I did a challenge. And in the challenge, I came on live just like this. And if it's a devotional, excuse me, well, a devotional, I went through some of the days. I think I did like over the course of maybe 3 or 4 days. I read a different part of the devotional and then shared about it. And in each day and at the end of the challenge, I was able to get sales. So that's something that came into my mind. But back to specifically to you, an idea of a challenge can be African dance to improve mood. And maybe the challenge is that each day you share a different type and discuss how it can link to mood or depression. Now, before I was saying how you can cast a wide net or you can nurture content. If this was the way you want to go, I would start all this off by talking about, hi, all this off by talking about depression, talking about what you know about depression, what is depression, if you've experienced it before, how you overcame it, etc. Established your authority and your expertise in the area. That way, when you talk about how African dance or the Bible or whichever method you're going to go with here helps depression, I know that, okay, she has the knowledge to back it up. I'm going to listen to her. I'm tuned in. And so then the challenge can be 5 scriptures that help depression, and it can be 5 different videos, or it can be 5 African dances that help with depression. It can be 5 different videos. That's just a blank idea. Okay, of course. Do I think LinkedIn is a good place to promote our business compared to other platforms? So I am super duper duper new to LinkedIn. Okay. Super new to LinkedIn. People say it's great. That's what they say. I just got on there like really for real. Hey, really for real, like last month. So people say it's good. I guess with that, it just depends on like who are you targeting? Going back to we talked about here, if y'all are just coming on, make sure y'all watch the replay. But the second thing we talked about is your who. What's the who? And so if the who is somebody who's going to be on LinkedIn, then sure, I say always go where your person is. Y'all know I love YouTube because of the visibility, the reach, the SEO, how it can make your video seen. People are already coming here to be educated. Um, so they're likely to watch my content and want to be educated. The thought I just had, I have also been on Threads, y'all. Do not sleep on Threads. Do y'all have a Threads account? I made one just kind of like randomly when it first came out. And then the other, and so I kind of treat it as like, I treated it like my diary. Like if I had like a late night thought about the things that I talk about, then I would go on there and share a little line or two. And the little lines or twos kept getting traction and leading to sales. So I also like Threads as well. It is slept on, but it is a hidden gem. Okay. I love Threads, y'all, because it is filled with other experts, which is my person. So where's your person? Who is your person? Where are they at? Yeah, Threads, y'all, do not sleep on them. I just have a cute little like maybe like 1,400 followers on there, not even nothing crazy. And it's just like it's kind of like a even playing field because it's such a new platform and not a lot of people actually use it. And so you'll see people who are like, huge on Instagram or huge on TikTok or huge on YouTube, and everybody gets one like or 10 likes. If your post is good, you may get 100 likes. Maybe you get a couple thousands, but it's pretty like everybody has a chance on there until people find out about it. If they ever do. Right now, it's pretty cool. So I would say if you're not on there, just go on there, and I'll give a tip of like using it like your diary. And I say that because when I try real hard to think of like a really good post, I'm gonna post this post. It's gonna be so good. Nobody cares, no likes, no comments, nothing. And then when I just say, okay, what's the thing that's on my mind? Like they just need to know this one little cute little line or whatever. Yeah, it's like Twitter. Yeah, I have not been on Twitter since college, y'all, but I think it's like Twitter. Yeah, it's the competitor for Twitter, right? But the they're trying to like still figure it out. So the algorithm is so strict. Like if you read a post for too long, let's say you're reading a post about a dog and you're like you pause and read it for too long, you will then get 10 more posts about dogs. Like literally, like that's the algorithm is trying to really figure you out. So I'm like, really? So on the other end, um, when you post something, people will usually they're able to see it easily. It's like SEO, but like on steroids. Um, Anyways, that was random, but it's really cool. Okay, y'all, I plan on coming on here for like 20 minutes. It's been about 50 minutes. If you're just coming on again, make sure you guys watch the replay. Thank y'all for hanging out with me today. I wasn't sure who would come on here because I have not been live in a minute. But make sure y'all go back again and watch the videos I put out last week. They'll be really helpful if your goal is to come online to sell your expertise and to or your passions and make income from it online. And also join me, y'all. I need to check my phone. I'm not sure how many seats I have left for the workshop next week, but it is going to be 3 nights next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and we're focusing on specifically the content that leads to your offers. So the marketing aspect of selling something. Also starting with if you're not sure what to sell, we'll go over different types of products to sell. And then specifically what to post to lead to sales effortlessly. That is, excuse me, the goal. I'll put the link here so y'all can read all the details. It is jam packed. And if you registered already before today, you got an email from me today, me asking. So make sure y'all go to that email. It's optional, but I would love if you can fill that form out because I'm asking, like, tell me more about you, your business, what you're going through. So right now, as I'm putting the finishing touches on this workshop, I can tailor it to what you actually need. So it's going to be very special to those who are live. And if you register today, tonight, I'll email you tomorrow again saying, like, hey, tell me about you, tell me about your business. What do you need help with? How can I best help you? And then, yeah, workshop is next week. So that is everything I have. Would I recommend YouTube over IG for challenges? Yes, I would, unless you already have an Instagram following. I would say yes. I recommend YouTube over Instagram for anything, for absolutely everything. That's just my personal opinion. When I'm getting off y'all, but when I used Instagram heavily in my business, it was strictly a community building tool for the audience I built somewhere else. So I built my audience here, but if I'm not posting a video or going live or whatever, then I also connected with them on my Instagram stories. Um, I'm not saying Instagram is dead, but that's what everybody's saying. So I recommend YouTube while it's still up and going. Try out Threads, check out Threads, and let me know how that goes for y'all. Come back, let me know, because it's cute over there. Follow me, I'll follow y'all back. It's the same as my Instagram, Natalie Nicole, and I'll follow y'all back and we can chat over there. All right. Thank y'all for joining. Hope you guys have a blessed evening. Don't forget to move in faith, faith over fear, as we say here. And let's get to it. All right. Be blessed. Good night.